Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 254 of the Drunk Dashers podcast. I'm your host, as always. I'm Tyler, and joining me is the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
I am doing freaking all right, Tyler.
Hey, Louis is also doing all right. Go on.
Like I was saying, man, it's kind of weird for us to be kind of recording on a Monday, but at the same time and stuff, it actually feels pretty good to actually, record because of you and I, our crazy schedules, our craziness that was the weekend. So it's like, I'm doing good. But, yeah, man, how have you been doing?
Doing all right. Louis is bringing toys over me now. I don't want to play right now, Louis. No, we've been playing all day. No, yeah, it's weird recording on a Monday night, but it was kind of a... Oop, damn dog. Stop. Just get down. Yeah, no, it's weird recording on a Monday. We haven't recorded on a weekday in a long time. That wasn't like an E3 or something like that. And
Yeah.
Will you stop that? Anyways, though, no, it's just, yeah, like Gables was saying, kind of a crazy weekend. What sucked was after working a 73-hour work week, I got off work Saturday and went and hung out with some friends from work. Went to a Mexican restaurant and had a couple pictures of margaritas.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was just, we were supposed to go out and just eat, have dinner, and then everybody head home. And then me and one other guy, we split two pitchers of margaritas. I didn't eat all day, and then I ate some chips when I was there, and that's all I ate. And then we're like, hey, let's go back to my place and have some more drinks. There's a group of us. We're like, all right, sure, let's go. And then Gables and I are messaging back and forth, and he's like, we'll just record tomorrow. I'm like, all right. And kind of kept drinking after that, and it was pretty bad.
Oh,
Woke
no.
up. Well, I don't remember getting home, that was really stupid. Don't drink and drive, people. That's really dumb. Yeah, that was stupid. And then I played some Madden action when I was over there, and I still kicked ass. Don't know how that happened, but I was still doing really good. Threw up my mom's dog. That was cool. She was not happy about that. Yeah, no, poor guy, poor Jack. Felt bad about that one.
The dog.
Yeah, so it's basically spent my my entire Sunday hungover, laying in bed, and occasionally going to the bathroom to throw up. So yeah, it was really kind of a crappy weekend. All in all, after all week, I was looking forward to, like, all I want to do is just go home, chill, play some games. I haven't played games all week, working 13, 14-hour days, and then did that instead.
Oh man, that sucks, dude. I mean, jeez, it just feels like not just you, but like some of my friends or something like that had like shitty weekends too. And it's like, it's like kind of the same, like with me and stuff. Not necessarily like a shitty weekend or something like that, but taking care of family stuff. And like the thing I really just did most over the weekend is just binge a lot of Dragon Ball Super.
Oh,
And
nice.
that was it. And that was just like, hey, you know what? That's fine. Everything else is crazy. Might as well just sit down and watch something.
Yeah, I just kind of watched a shit ton of old, like, angry video game nerd videos.
That's awesome.
When I was hungover. That's like, yeah, I kind of was sleeping in and out between those. So that was kind of my weekend. So I got some game. I bought Moss. It's a PSVR game I've wanted to play for a long time.
Okay.
I haven't played it yet. Yeah. So I'm gonna just jump right into what we've been playing.
Yeah.
I played nothing still. Yeah. I played episode 3 of Telltale Batman, season 2. That's all right. It is what it is. It's not as good as the last season, but the last episode I think comes out tomorrow, as of this recording. I don't really think. Oh, I played some. So like, there's a game called Little Nightmare that came out. I want to say last May or April.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like a side scroller. Reminded me a lot of like Limbo and Inside. Like, it kind of took a lot from that. Like, you're on a boat and you're like this weird. I don't know what you are, but you're just trying to get past all these crazy people and crazy weird creatures. And they actually made like a season pass for it like a couple months later. It was like $10. I really liked the game, and I'm like, I want more of that game. So I bought the season pass of that. And the last, it was 3 different DLCs packs that came out, and I'm like, I should finally play that. And I played it for like half an hour. I just wasn't getting into it. That's really all I played. I haven't played shit really. So I played a game of Madden in the last week and a half. So that's pretty much my gaming. Don't have time for it. What about you, Gables?
Well, you know what? My week was kind of almost similar to that, where it's like a lot of my gaming didn't really come until like around maybe, gosh, later on in the week. I mean, it's something that generally does not happen to me too often, where I get so busy, or if I'm like watching something and all of a sudden it's like I don't play video games like for a good stretch of time. I literally went, I kid you not, like about 5 or 6 days without playing anything, and then all of a sudden Saturday comes along. It's like, yeah, I feel like I'm in the mood to play something. And I did play a few things. One is I tried to play some matches for like Dragon Ball online, that Dragon Ball Fighters Z and stuff. I gotta admit though, after the patch, there are some better improvements in terms of the stability wise for online matches. I mean, I'm still getting like random, some like random like drop from lobby stuff. Not like in the middle of the matches, mind you, but like I did want to get one drop out as I was doing like training mode and stuff for like combos and stuff, but because randomly sometimes it'll go through and it just says, "Oh, you've left the lobby." You're like, how the hell am I leaving the lobby so much? But anyway, some of the online, I only did like about 4 online matches. Let's see, I just want to say 2 out of the 4. Like I won 1 match and stuff where it's like, the person that I was fighting against, he was really new, but I was able to go through, sweep both matches and stuff using a combination of Android 18, Piccolo, and Gotenks. And for the other one was kind of a little bit more difficult because the guy definitely knew what he was doing, but at the same time, it's like he rage quit right in the middle of the second match that we were having, because I basically got him down to 1 character, and all of a sudden it's like, connection lost. Like, oh my god, he DQ'd. What a little chump. I mean, for God's sakes. You beat me 1 match and you can't stand to be beaten twice and like once in a row to break it up. I mean, come on. You know? But that was just the thing. We were trading blows back and forth. I was really starting to get a handle of like how he played, because he would try to do a couple of different types of repetitious moves to try to fake me out a little bit, so that way he could try to do like a chain link combo to where he would get into a situation where he would believe that I would not be able to get out of like a little 1, 2, 3 kind of like step, like combo moves or something like that with Gohan and this and that and stuff. But I managed to go through and break out of some of the stuff and just wait until he executed a large move. That way I go through and just try to punish him a little bit with a couple of chip hits from like light punches, like medium kicks and such. But yeah, that's pretty much how like Dragon Ball FighterZ Z and stuff is done. I may potentially want to go through and like put it down for a little bit, see what I can pick up on my PS4 for what I feel like playing at the moment. But I did manage to play more of Doom on Switch.
Nice.
And I gotta admit, man, it's like the more I play it, handheld-wise, the more I really start to enjoy just the novelty of like playing Doom on the go. It is so awesome. The game is still pretty fluid. I have not encountered hardly any types of like slowdown, any like bad hitches or something like that. And by the quality of this game, this almost has me wanting to go out and buy Skyrim for Switch. Because it's like, this is an awesome experience. I mean, Doom itself is an awesome game, and it was like number 2 on my top 10 list, I think, from like, what was it?
2016.
2016? Yeah. Oh my god, I still am not getting a handle on 2018 right now. But
we'll get it down in December.
But yeah, I'm past the point and stuff where I just went through and encountered my first rune and stuff. I basically had to try to find Olivia Pierce and try to kill her, but I know that's not going to like go through and end well and stuff, because I think I'm a couple of levels before going into hell and stuff like that itself. But let's see. The controls and stuff like that feel really good. I do have issues sometimes whenever I'm playing with the left Joy-Con for too long. Like if I'm in handheld mode and stuff and I've been playing for a long portion of time, or like really fast repetitive movements, sometimes my left thumb wants to go ahead and kind of numb a bit while I'm trying to move around the little Joy-Con from the left controller. But honestly, that's probably just the way I'm like holding my Switch and stuff like that while I'm like just playing it.
Oh,
But
kind of like doing like the claw thing, like in the old 3DS.
yeah, I think that's what initially is happening, to the extent to where my thumb sometimes gets numb and I gotta go through and just like readjust it, do this and that. Let's see. Docked mode for Doom on Switch is not bad. I mean, it's still a little bit, in comparison to say like the PS4 version or the Xbox One version, it is a little bit blurry, but at the same point, it is focused as a 720p sort of experience in terms of to try to match kind of the handheld the like the handheld like specs pretty much.
Yeah.
But everything else seems all right too. I mean, the game itself I feel performs a lot better on like undocked and stuff, but while it's docked, it's still respectable. I'm not really encountering anything that like a bad port would be plagued of, like screen tearing or like slow down or missing frames or like any type of like bad stuff. There's definitely no lacking content that I'm aware of. Well, for single player wise, I mean, I know for a fact I'm not playing multiplayer on the fucking Switch for that. I mean, I didn't play Doom multiplayer at all, honestly, when I had it for PS4, but
Yeah, you weren't missing much.
yeah, I kind of figured that. But other than that, though, that's really what I have been playing. But at the same point and stuff, I still am looking forward to playing more of Doom, potentially picking up Skyrim, because, hell, why not? I have it on Steam, I can play it anytime I want on there, but just, I don't know what it is, Tyler. It's like, all of a sudden, it's like, with my Switch, I want to go forth and I want to play games that I know on the device. It doesn't matter whether it's like a game that I played like years ago, like Skyrim, or like, a game I played a couple years ago, like Doom or something. I want to try like new games on this device. It's so crazy. It feels like what I did a couple years ago when I had my Vita and stuff, and I freaking kept playing through game after game after game in the span of a month.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's it for me.
All right, cool. Well, that's cool though. It's kind of like it's turning in your preferred way to play is on the go and handheld.
I'll tell you what, man. This definitely, the Nintendo Switch has totally like got my full attention. Like in regards to handheld stuff, I'm not wanting to touch my 3DS too much and stuff, and it totally eclipsed the Vita. I mean, the Vita was one of my go-to devices over the past year and a half and stuff, barring Pokemon, and this and that. But yeah, now I don't have it anymore, and quite honestly, I haven't had any type of desire just to go and play anything on the Vita for like months. I know it's sad to say, though, but that actually may be a good thing as we look forward to what's in the news.
Yeah, I was actually just getting ready to segue to that myself. Apparently, Louis doesn't want to segue to that, though. He wants me to throw his little dragon thing instead. I'm just going to pet you. Can I pet you instead? Will you be a good boy if I pet you? No, I don't want to play. Whatever. Well, forget you, Louis. Damn it. Anyways, but yeah, after without Louis destroying my segue there. So, speaking of the Vita, they have PlayStation has announced in the newest blog when they announced the PlayStation Plus games for March that as of March 2019 they will no longer be supporting PS3 and Vita games through that. So no more of the free games you get. God, will you stop it? Go lay down, Louis. Come on, go lay down. Go lay down. Yeah, so they announced that they will not be supporting any more PS3 and Vita games for free on the platform starting in March 2019. So the kind of cool thing is, I think the make up for that, the make good, is by doing that they announced that for the month of March that you'll be getting a Ratchet and Clank and Bloodborne for the PS4. There's also a few other games with the cross-buy with Vita that you can get those games as well. But I don't know, Gables, you have you have the Vita and everything, so I guess this would affect you more than it affects me because I only really have the PS4. How did you feel when you heard about this?
Well, to be perfectly honest, I wasn't necessarily surprised with the news. With the amount of people who still own a PS3 and a PlayStation Vita, I mean, yeah, you know what, the PlayStation Plus stuff was definitely something that kept those systems pretty much alive in terms of like games that they want to go through and play if they choose to, especially for Vita owners. I mean, Vita owners are very hardcore dedicated fans of that device and stuff. They have multiple games. They love playing what they play. A lot of them obviously have moved on to like other systems, possibly even like the Switch, kind of like what I did too. But it's like, I'm actually kind of glad that this is sort of happening. If I know it's kind of like odd for me to say, oh, hey, I'm glad this thing is getting like finally ending and stuff like that. It's just with the PlayStation 3 and the Vita and stuff like that. They're both systems now where I just don't have any type of desire just to go forth and play anymore. So it's like hearing the news that PlayStation Plus support is going to end like about a year from now for both those devices. It just doesn't really surprise me. I mean, the PlayStation 3 at this point, it came out in 2006. It's 2018. That damn system needs to stop like getting like it just needs to firmly kind of just right off into the sunset, you know? Kind of like how the PlayStation 2 was around for years, even though it had like bits of sports titles here and there until it eventually went out, I think around 10 years ago. I'm going to say. Yeah. Wait, no, not 10 years ago. It more or less was like about 2012, now that I think about it.
Oh, yeah, like smaller countries. Yeah, you're right.
Well, smaller countries, yeah. It didn't fully like go away until like about 2012. And that was just because other countries wanted to play like sports games, you know, like FIFA and like Pro Evolution Soccer, I think, and that stuff.
Yeah, they're popular in like European and South American countries.
No, yeah, for the Vita and stuff, it's kind of like a different matter to where it's like it hasn't been around as long as say the like the PS3 has been and stuff, but at the same point, it came out 2012. It has had a great amount of games that people can play through, do this and do that and stuff, but yet hardly any developer, like first party wise, is like supporting the system still. There's only plenty of like the hardcore, like say the indies and like indie developers and certain companies that are going to be supporting that system. They have supported that system, I should say. Correct. They have like supported that handheld and stuff through like games, kind of like the niche type of games, like the anime games and this and that and all this stuff. But yeah, that handheld has been in decline now for the past couple of years, and now it's kind of like at that point and stuff where now it's losing the PlayStation Plus support, so it's going to be even less interest and stuff. And yeah, I just kind of feel like the Vita in and of itself is, since the Switch has been out for like a year now, is quintessentially dead at this point, you know?
Yeah. I'm pretty much in agreement with you and all that. Like, I haven't really heard surprisingly, I haven't heard a lot of outrage about it. I figured you hear some stuff about it, but I think everybody's.
That's, yeah, Tyler. Like I was saying, it's like I think that's very telling that there isn't really too much outrage for the PlayStation 3 and the Vita not getting like PlayStation Plus support past a year from now. I think it's because a lot of the common consensus among gamers in and of itself happens to be it's like, hey, yeah, okay, they're old systems. We've moved on to other stuff, you know? So it's like, all right, hey, I don't care. It's kind of like similar to how people reacted when, like, the Wii Shop channel thing was going to be, like, closing down and stuff and all this other stuff. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, its heyday's over.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just... the PS3 came out, I think it was 2007, actually. Or no, it was 2006. You're right.
Yeah,
I was still in high school.
2006.
Yep, you're right. So yeah, and so in March of 2019, that console will be over 12 years old. At that point, the PS4 will have been out for over 5 years. The Vita will be out for over 7 years, and the Vita, quite honestly, has been dead for a few years. But the Switch coming out was kind of the final nail in the coffin for it, where all those indie games that the big indie support I was getting, everybody's like going to now. Everybody's going to the Switch now.
Yeah, that's sort of become the device for the indie darling like developers now. Every bit of the content that used to be on the Vita has now softly but surely migrated itself towards the Switch to the point where it's like, I like I said before, I did not touch the Vita for months after the Switch came out, and that was one of the reasons why.
Yeah, and you're probably just one of many examples there like that. So I feel like if anybody's really upset about it, it's kind of silly, and like especially when the PS Plus has really been around, I think since like 2010, 2011.
Yeah.
So you've gotten at that point 8-9 years of support from it. So
Yep.
if you look at the Vita and the PS3, they probably give out 25, 30 games a year for those
Yep.
platforms. And at a certain point, you probably gotta look at it like they're probably giving out as many free games for the Vita. And I'm obviously using free in parentheses there. But they're probably giving out more of those games every year than probably what's being made for them at this point,
Yeah.
especially the PS3. I doubt anything is really being made for PS3 at this point.
Oh, I can attest to this, Tyler. When I had the PS3 and I went on that storefront, it was such a barren sort of like thing, how in comparison to what its heyday was, to the extent where it's like you go through the PlayStation Plus selections of like games and stuff. They basically had like a couple of games, maybe like per month and stuff, but going through, there was like all these like advertisements and stuff for you to upgrade to a PS4 and all of those other things. I mean, it was so like much of a hassle to try to navigate and search for games on that device, where it's like they basically went forth. They just made like 3 columns for PlayStation 3 games, for like Vita games. It was just crazy and sort of nonchalant, because they gave you options to just purchase games like Vita and PSP games like on the storefront.
Mm-hmm.
And then not like how it was with the PSP, where it's like, okay, now you can buy like PlayStation 3 products here, you can buy PSP things on the PSP. Like, it was just a clusterfuck. I'll just say that.
Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of a sad thing, but I think it's honestly at this point I'm surprised it lasted as long as it did. I'm more surprised with PS3 than Vita, but it just makes sense to kind of cut ties at both at the same time. And like I mentioned at the beginning, we don't typically talk about the PS Plus and Xbox games for gold stuff all that often. Usually when we do, it's because it's kind of a bigger thing coming out, but a really good way to soften the blow for that, for people that might be upset that have a PS4. Coming out with a really strong month, I think, for the PS4 owners, where you get like I said, you get Ratchet and Clank and Bloodborne, but also they have a few cross play games for, like with the Vita and PS3, where it's like there's like this bomber game, Claire extended cut, and the kind of I guess the bigger one is Mighty Number 9 is actually going to be free for PS4 owners as well. So maybe not not necessarily a good game, but I think it's of like what people might know of those 3 crossplay games they'll get. That's the one I think everybody knows and will remember, recognize, I guess, out of it. So it's probably one of the better, maybe not the biggest game ever to come from free out of this, but for a top to bottom free month for games, this is probably the best one PlayStation's had since the PS4 came out, I would say.
I agree.
What about you, Gables? Are any of these tickling your fancy?
Well, yeah. Anyway, Tyler, it's like what I said and stuff like that. I agree that with the whole aspect of this month for the PlayStation Plus and stuff like that, this is probably one of the better ones that I've seen in quite a long while, to where you get 2 great quality games, Bloodborne, Ratchet and Clank, both of them highly acclaimed in terms of like not only just for their gameplay, but also of their like just overall just appeal is just fantastic in my honest opinion. But yeah, I can see like exactly like it's like, man, I'm just rambling on right now. Go on.
No, I think it's just awesome. Like Ratchet and Clank was in my top 10 list for 2016, and Bloodborne I think was in Gables the year it came out. And a lot of people love that game. A lot of people consider it one of the best games of this generation. So really cool to see that out there for everybody. And I might give it a try again. Maybe I can get past First Enemy this time.
You definitely need to use like a little guide or something like that, because those type of games, you got to at least prepare the character build that you want to use, and also you got to prepare like basically what you want to do and where you got to go, because you're going to get lost if you don't know where you're going.
Yeah, that's my life in general. So, but moving on to let's go with this one. So we talked about last week about the EA Play for E3 during E3. They announced a new Battlefield game will be coming out this year. No details on that, but it's going to come out now. That this game will be called Battlefield 5 with both V for the Roman numeral 5, and will be a World War II game.
Not
So,
surprised.
no, but I mean, it's been so long since we've had a big AAA World War II game. So, I mean, it's been like what, at least 5 months. So, we're due. Um, Man, it's kind of crazy. It feels like a year or two ago we were like, man, we can it'd be awesome to go back to World War II. It's been so long since they've been there, and now it's like we have Call of Duty went there, and now we have freaking Battlefield going there. It's like, man, we're just doing this over again, aren't we? Like they are out of ideas. Like,
we had a good, solid, I would want to say 10, maybe not so much 10. Yeah, actually it is. The last time we actually had a World War II game to like this extent to where it was actually decent, would be like World at War.
That was 2008, yeah.
That was 2008, and then like last year, Call of Duty, Activision brings out Call of Duty World War II and stuff like that. Now Battlefield is following suit with like its own thing based in World War II as well, so it's yeah, it's definitely been overdue, I guess.
Yeah. Now it feels like it's being overdone. So, I guess the only thing I'm looking forward to with this is I didn't actually play Call of Duty WW2. I still want to play it.
Yeah.
But I liked what they did with Battlefield 1, where it was just like 6 different small, like compact 45-minute to an hour stories,
right,
each taking place from like a different perspective and different parts of the war. That'd be kind of cool to see, maybe, if they do that again, like 5 or 6 different small little self-contained storylines taking place, like maybe somewhere in Japan. Then we got some stuff, in Europe, and covering just more than just kind of what we always see, like the same, the attack on Normandy, and we see just a lot of the same battles over and over again. And I think even Call of Duty WW2, the first mission was the attack on Normandy. And so I hope we can avoid that this time. And I said that last time when they announced Call of Duty WW2. They didn't. I guess I'm just, that's the only part I'm optimistic about, is to kind of see like what they might cover in this one, and not just be a formulaic. I think that was a big issue with WW2 games, was they just kind of ran out of material to do, or they kept rehashing the same stuff over and over again. So I don't know. I mean, it could be cool. That's to me the only selling point for me, is that would there be anything that would kind of sell you on this game?
To be perfectly honest, what would sell me on a Battlefield game at this point is if they don't go the freaking way that they did with freaking Star Wars Battlefront, to where there's a bunch of fucking loot boxes, there's a bunch of like extra costs and stuff in terms of like cosmetic like guns and all this other shit. I mean, that's basically AAA bullshit.
Yeah.
But what would really get me like going forth and actually want to play it is if there are new things inside this game to where I haven't done before inside of a game of this type, like the online shooter stuff. Basically have a decent story mode, have decent like characters I can play as and stuff, kind of similar to like what, like, say Battlefield 1 was, like with World War 1 and stuff. I mean, there were some good moments in that game. I never finished it because I owned it on Xbox One and I don't have one right now. But just basically be a freaking good game. That's what would get me to go and play it.
Yeah, that's a good argument. Yeah, you mentioned loot boxes, and I'm going to kind of move on to that. So the ESRB, the people that rate our games, give them the E, the T for everyone, or T for teen, or mature, or whatever, has now added a new label, which will read as in-game purchases, and it'll be located near the rating category. Like you always, whenever you buy the game, it says in the back of the box, rated E for everyone. It says the reasons why, or teen for violence or whatever. So now they're adding that. But it just says in-game purchases. The label offers no specifics about the type of in-game purchases available to avoid overwhelming parents with too much information. The ESRB president, Patricia Vance, says parents are not specifically concerned with those, but the broader potential for their children to spend money in general. As such, this label will not just cover loot boxes, but other forms of DLC like maps, purchases of in-game currency. So basically, if you're selling a game at a store or digitally or whatever, and then you're also selling like a season pass or you have extra content down the line, or loot boxes, this will have that in-game purchase label on it.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm pretty much in agreement for that, I mean, that sounds pretty good and stuff, because the ESRB did definitely need an update in terms of kind of updating to sort of the modern gaming sphere, and a lot of the worries and stuff about loot boxes and stuff that parents are not even going to be aware of, to see if they buy a game or something for their kid. Like, say, for example, if they get a game that does have like a lot of cosmetic features or a lot of things, say like Overwatch, for example, where it's like you have the options to spend money in order to like get things like open loot crates and stuff to get like cosmetics or like different types of voices or different types of like emblems and stuff of your favorite characters here and there and stuff. There's actually separate currency stuff you can buy like in-store retailers, I said like Walmart and stuff. But the ESRB actually going through and labeling some bits of it to say, oh yeah, this game has in-game purchases and stuff like that. That's fantastic. That brings a lot wider of an appeal for parents or whoever wants to play a specific game. It's like, oh, this game has like extra purchases involved inside here and stuff. Okay, it just kind of makes it more kind of like modernized, and not just like modernized, but it actually kind of like makes it more like aware for anyone that goes into there. Is like, okay, if I'm paying $60 for this game, yeah, there are additional things that I can pay for, but I can decide whether or not, that whether I want to spend it based upon what content it actually is. So I think that's a good idea by the ESRB going through and just doing that type of steps.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in agreement with you on this one as well. I don't know if I necessarily like how they kind of put everything in one big, umbrella, but I think it's better than nothing. I think it's a good step forward. Like you said, it's good. I mean, they get a little more with the times, be a little more modern. And, I mean, loot boxes, DLC, things like that have been around for well over a decade, really, in kind of home console gaming. And I don't know how many times, like, I've heard someone buy a game, like when I used to work at a game store, or even with my parents, they buy a game and they realize there's stuff they have to buy on top of it. Remember my parents buying years ago, like Sims on the computer, and then they found all these freaking expansions that were like stupid Christmas expansions or puppy expansions, things like that. And they get upset, like, oh, the game's $50 and you gotta spend, these are all like $10-$20 a piece. So maybe that, I don't know how many parents are gonna look at that, maybe, but I think having that there to be something they can see, and maybe that'll make them do a little more research on the game before they purchase it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I guess as a hardcore gamer, we'd like to see a little more detail in it. But I think for us, we don't need that detail, because we know what's in there. We have a general idea what it is. This is more, really. I mean, the rating system, all that is really just more for the casual people, or grandma buying a game for their grandson or things like that. So the whole rating system is never really for us. So it's hard to hate it for what it is. I think it's, like I said, it's better than nothing, and I think it's a good step forward.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, definitely.
Yeah. So bravo to you, ESRB. Not bad. Trump said he wanted ratings in video games just over a week ago, and here we are. We got our ratings in video games. We're killing it, and they say he does nothing.
I just find that hilarious and stuff that he actually said point blank. It's like, yeah, we should have ratings in video games. Like, yeah, you're 20 years too late, Trump.
Yeah. 1993, buddy.
93, yep.
Yeah. Anyways, before we get into the Trump pit, let's move on to I believe this will be our last topic. We're flying through stuff this week. I took a sleeping pill like 2 hours ago, and it's kind of interesting. It's a race. See what's gonna happen first. Me fall asleep when this podcast ends. Anyways, last topic of the show. Detroit Become Human. It's the what the fuck's that goddamn company's name? Oh boy. Oh, I'm looking it up now.
Quantic Dreams?
Yeah, Quantic Dream. Ooh, boy, I'm tired. Anyways, so the new game is coming out. They announced spring 2018 a little while back, and is officially coming out on May 25th. There's actually a bundle you can buy for like I think it's like $70 digitally on the Sony on the PlayStation Store where you get that game. Plus you get Heavy Rain.
Oh,
So if you're interested in that for basically additional $10, you can get it on there. Um, but yeah, this May 25th, it's a game I've been looking forward to for a long time. I loved Heavy Rain back in the day. I thought Beyond Two Souls was okay, but I'm really excited to play this game. I don't know if I know Gables. I think you platinum Heavy Rain, but
yes, I did.
are you a? I mean, I don't know if we've ever. I don't remember if you have said it. I don't remember it. So, are you excited? Are you looking forward to Detroit Become Human?
To be perfectly honest with you, Detroit, that game in general kind of has me sort of like, kind of like on the fence, really, because it's like I'm not too sure if I want to play it or not, but at the same time, I'm just waiting to see how it actually goes, because I was all in on Heavy Rain when it first came out, to the extent where I actually played through that game multiple times, got the platinum, which people look at me to this day, it's like, you freaking platinumed Heavy Rain? Like, oh my god, dude. It's like, yeah, I platinumed that shit. I went to that opening sequence like freaking 3 or 4 times because I forgot to figure out that there's a sequence of me to try to unlock this specific trophy. But
Jason, did you press O to Jason instead of X? Is that what happened?
No. No, it's kind of funny. Is there's actually a freaking assistant manager at my workplace called Jason. And every time he passes by or the intercom goes, all of a sudden I just yell out, Jason,
Jason, Jason. Still funny.
There's both a Jason and a Sean in my workplace, so it's like it's alternates.
Poor
Sean.
God.
Yeah, we have fun at the workplace.
There's literally it's still an app out there that it's just you just download it and you just press a big X and it just keeps saying Jason. It's the greatest thing that ever happened in smartphone history.
I gotta look that up. But anyway, Detroit Become Human and stuff. It's like what I said before. It's like I'm on the fence about it, but I am waiting to see how the game does. If it looks interesting, if it's like really like on the ball, like good or something, I may want to check it out. But as it stands right now, I don't know. I really don't know about the game.
Yeah. I mean, you look at it, they're 50-50 or well for I think critically acclaimed games. Like I said, I think pretty much everybody that played Heavy Rain was in some way, shape, or form, whether they didn't really care for the actual game itself. Everybody found something that was kind of cool about it, whether it was the way it looked, the way things kind of, the butterfly effect of how things went off. I remember playing that game and just like the way it ended, I'm like, holy shit, something I did like 2 hours into the game totally like affected my ending. It was before the Telltales were out there. I think it was right around the time like BioWare was doing some cool stuff with like Mass Effect. So I'm kind of curious, as we've gotten further into these more story-heavy games, if this is going to have the same effect that Heavy Rain did back in the day. I wonder. I mean, Beyond Two Souls wasn't really that interesting of a game, but I don't know if I kind of want to go back and play it because I can't. I want to know was it the game that wasn't very good, or was it just that those mechanics aren't as cool as they once were? Kind of like maybe it's like kind of God of War. The hack and slash was really cool back in the day, and then by the 4th God of War game, it was just like, all right, these aren't really that cool anymore. It's been done to death. So
hey, remember when the time when like God of War was being compared to like Devil May Cry back in the day because of the gameplay?
Yeah, it's true. True.
Because both of them had like similar styles of like using light and heavy attacks and stuff like that. But speaking of like Devil May Cry and stuff, that HD remaster of it is coming out for PS4 and Xbox One. I think not too far away from now.
Oh yeah, that's right. And there's still the rumors of like Devil May Cry 5 is like.
Yeah, I've been reading about that too. That actually has me quite intrigued.
Yeah, never been officially confirmed, but it's been like a rumor for like the last 3 E3s. So I feel like that sounds like the game's pretty much happening, but I feel like when the game gets announced, it's not going to be too far out when it does get announced.
Yeah, because it's been like 10 years since the last official like Devil May Cry game of that timeline, before the reboot. But
yeah.
But Devil May Cry 4, that one was an interesting game. I think I only played like through Nero's campaign and stuff, and basically when you take over as Dante, and then you realize you had to go through some of the stages in reverse. I'm like,
Yeah.
No,
Really
I'm
pissed
not
a lot of
doing
people
that.
off. Yeah, I think a lot of people felt that way with that game.
That's exactly where it stopped too.
Yeah, I think a lot of people did too in that one as
But
well.
that game was really fucking fun too.
Yeah, I was never a Devil May Cry guy. Never really much of a hack and slash guy though either. So that's why I
I'm more
never.
of, I'm more of like an action guy, you know. I
Yeah.
love my fighting games. I love like just fast action, Doom, Bayonetta, Devil May Cry. Hell, when it came up to that E3 when Devil May Cry was like not only announced, but you know, getting my copy of Game Pro, then putting that DVD disc inside my then PS2, and then just watching like the gameplay trailers for the reveal for Devil May Cry 3, and just having that music pumping and all that other shit. It's like that was such a treat. Like
Yeah.
back then, you know, it's like you know, back when gaming magazines used to be prevalent and like had like random things that you can get from it, like say DVDs or like game demos or other type of stuff.
Oh yeah, still remember the days running home from school and getting my brand new Nintendo Power. So
Oh yeah,
missed those days. It was exciting back then. You didn't know what was happening until like the magazines came out. It was pretty sweet. But also,
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, the internet's way better, but like, still miss those days when you're a kid and getting that magazine and reading, page to page every multiple times until the new magazine came out.
right.
God damn,
But
magazines
any
are cool.
but anyway, Tyler, I do have a topic. If you want to do one
Oh.
last topic before we end off here,
All right, yeah, throw it in
and
there.
this is actually sort of a question or something like that I just came up with not too long ago, but it actually may be a good cause for discussion. You know, it's like, is it worth it right now to purchase an Xbox One X? You know, the reason why I came up with this question is more or less my desires to possibly in the future maybe purchase an Xbox One X. But the reasoning behind all that is because there are a lot of strides that Microsoft's been making over the past few months that have kind of piqued some gamers' like intrigue of whether or not they want to go forth and like play games on that platform. It's not necessarily for first-party content, but it's more or less because of the little bits and pieces that Microsoft has since added, you know. Not just the backwards compatibility from like 360 games, original Xbox games and stuff, but it's also the concept of the Game Pass, how much you can pay for a year in order to get access to a whole library slew of games. And then like with Microsoft's announcement of like having brand new games and stuff almost like day one for like some bits that you can play, you know, it sort of has me thinking it's like that is kind of a cool idea to where it's like if there's possibly a situation where it's like I could get like an Xbox One X or something like that for cheap, that it may actually be logical in terms of, say, if I don't want to spend so much for like games or something for a particular month or whatever, you know, it's like it's sort of like an optional stuff. But what would you think? You know, do you think it's kind of worth it right now to purchase like an Xbox One?
Oh, the Xbox One X. Yeah, I would say if you don't have, an Xbox One, then I would say, or even with the PlayStation 4, if you don't have one, you might as well buy the newer one just to future proof yourself.
There you go.
Because it seems like the 4K is I think proving not to be a fad anymore. I think you see a lot of networks going in that direction. Netflix, video games. I mean, everything seems this doesn't seem like a 3D sort of thing.
It's not 3D TV at all. I mean, this 3D TV was a fad back when it was first introduced, like the CES and the other type of game shows and stuff that we would see. But you're right, though. 4K is definitely kind of did like a foothold, like kind of cemented itself inside the realms of like the quality in terms of fidelity and stuff right now for TVs and like computer monitors and stuff. And now with the game consoles, like going that route as well, you're kind of right though. It like future proofs itself to when if there's even more content or something to go forth and stuff, you're gonna have that type of experience. Like if you choose to invest inside of it.
Yeah. So I think like I said, if you're gonna go out and buy any of the new consoles, you might as well spend the extra money. It's a little easier to say with the PS4 because I think it's only like $100 price difference, and I think it's like $200 price difference or $250 price difference right now for the Xbox One X, but even still, I think it's worth the extra. Probably worth the extra money. It seems like the Xbox One X is more powerful, and it's just like if you're looking at getting a new TV right now, you might as well just get a 4K one.
Well, yeah, of course.
So I would say yeah. It's tougher to say, and like maybe for your sense when you already have a PS4.
Yeah.
Justin and I were actually having this conversation. I think right around or right before the Xbox One X came out, and he was just talking about he had it pre-ordered and he was trying to decide whether or not he wanted to get it. And I'm like, why would you want to get it when you play the Switch more than anything else?
Yeah, I know, right?
PS4 you don't play all that often, but you made a good point where like the Xbox One X would just be his third-party machine. And I could see it from that standpoint. Like if that's gonna be the console you play all your third-party games on, that would make sense. Like that's the reason I bought a PS4. That's why I have a PS4 Pro and not the Xbox One S or the Xbox One X. Is I play 90% of the games I play are on the PS4 Pro, and I turned on my Xbox One twice last year to play Super Hot and Cuphead. So for me, it would be worth it just from that standpoint. But I think for your standpoint and like the Games Pass stuff. Sea of Thieves. If those first party, especially those first party titles, are intriguing you at all, I would say yes. Kind of short answer, long, yes, or long.
Well,
whatever.
Well, that's just the thing. I feel like in this kind of like stance and scenario, I feel an Xbox One X is definitely worth the price of pickup, not just because of like say the power and the fidelity of the console, because we all know that Microsoft. It's kind of a historical fact that they always try to put out the most powerful sort of like machine or something like that, but yet there's something that doesn't like go right their way or something, and they just kind of mess up little bits and pieces here and there. But in terms of like say the Xbox One in general, I kind of feel like Microsoft has done a great job in terms of backing itself up and like just going back from how it was when it was first announced and how it first was released and stuff. I kind of feel like there's sort of like similar, like kind of an upswing going with Microsoft at the moment to where they're trying to find footing in terms of not only just their first party content, but like just making little bits of changes here and there to a fact where it seems like they're getting more consumer friendly in terms of like appealing to not only more people, but it's also kind of like exciting to kind of see that games like Sea of Thieves and stuff may be like day one, like on the Game Pass and this and of that. This in of itself, but I kind of feel like it's kind of worthwhile to invest in an Xbox One X right now because not only do you have access to all these like first party games and stuff like that they've put out, but yeah, it's definitely like a place where I'm kind of interested in trying out games like Sea of Thieves, like say PUBG, even though I could go through and like play it on Steam anytime that I wish though, but I've actually got a couple friends that actually may want to go forth and play PUBG or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, I kind of feel that it's definitely going to be the kind of device where if I do invest inside of it, it's going to be like, okay, I'm just going to play a couple things here and there and stuff. It's basically to sort of give my PS4 like a kind of a break because I use the damn thing every day to like watch content, to like play little bits here and there, but yeah, it predominantly is probably going to be my like my third-party machine plus backwards compatible stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much what I kind of wanted to touch upon and stuff, in terms of like Xbox One stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. And I'd add on to that really quickly. It's like you mentioned a good point with the backwards compatibility in the Xbox One or the Xbox Games Pass. Where my argument, I remember when I bought the Wii U and I was talking to you and Jake about a long time ago.
Yep.
Was Mario Kart 8 was finally the game that pushed me on, like that was like, all right, the tip scales, I'm getting a Wii U, and they had the deal where when you got it, you got a game code for 1 of 4 games, and then you gave me one game code, Justin gave me another game code,
yep,
and then immediately I had a good library of games, like an instant game library, and if you get an Xbox One, whether it's an Xbox One, 1S or 1X, you get the Games Pass for $9.99 a month. You got a huge collection. Plus, if you had a 360, you got a good backwards compatibility selection already. So, I mean, the only downside with it is we've talked about a lot. People have talked about a lot with it. Is their first party selection isn't super great, but
no,
it's getting there. They've got some big stuff coming later this year. So yeah, I we were predominantly a Switch and PS4 podcast, but I
But
mean, since
but really that's because that's where a lot of the that's where a lot of the news and a lot of the big name games right now are just
yeah,
releasing, the PS4 and the Switch.
yeah,
Because first party wise, we are more likely to play things on the PS4 and the Switch because there hasn't been so much talked about in terms of first party exclusive games for the Xbox One that
yeah,
we actually want to play through and enjoy.
and there's a lot more big first party titles for those, PlayStation, Nintendo.
Now, had it been sort of the opposite way, we would be talking a hell of a lot more about the Xbox One in terms
Yeah,
of like just coverage and whatever.
yeah. When this podcast first started almost 5 years ago, we were a predominantly 360 podcast. So
True.
it's kind of crazy how times change. So yeah, um, that was a good question. It was fun to talk about. We should do stuff like that more often.
Yeah, we should.
Um, yeah, but I think I'm gonna wrap up the show for the week. It's getting a little
Okay.
late. I gotta get up early. So, but thank you guys for listening. Sorry we're a little late this week. If you want to hear more from us, we have a Facebook page and group. It's Drunk Dash Nerds. Like and join us on there. On Twitter, we are at Drunk Nerds Pod. Follow us on there. YouTube, Drunk Nerds Podcast. Subscribe, and the podcast goes up there. So if you're listening to us on there, even if you're not, go to our YouTube page, subscribe, and hit that thumbs up button. We really appreciate if you did that. And also on Twitch, we're twitch.tv/Drunk Nerds Podcast. So follow us on there. And also, actually, on iTunes, obviously, Drunk Dash Nerds Podcast. Subscribe to us on there as well. Leave a 5-star review and write something out. We really appreciate it. Well, I'll shout you on the show if you do it. But I think that might do it for the show this week. So I was your host. I was Tyler.
And I have been Colonel Gables. So until next time, everyone, I hope you have yourself a good week. I hope you play plenty of fun games. And most of all, keep surviving, people. Keep surviving. Oh my gosh.
Bye, guys.
See ya.